What's up, kid? What can I do for you? What can you give me for this ring? It's 24 karat. It's got a bunch of diamonds in it. It costs $10,000 brand new. It's legit. I'll give you $50. $50 fucking dollars? Bro, are you fucking kidding me? This ring's been in my family for 6 fucking generations. My grandmother died wearing it. It's supposed to go with my oldest brother, whoever the fuck he marries. I had to break into my grandfather's fucking house and pay somebody $20 for a ride to you. $50? Whoa. I was not aware of any of that. I am so sorry. Let me recalculate that, okay, buddy?
Thank you.
I'm such an idiot sometimes. Okay, so you said it's been in your family for 6 generations?
Yup.
And your grandmother died wearing it?
Uh-huh.
Holy fuck. So that's double the sentimental value right there. That's very important.
That's
Very
what I
important
thought.
in this business, okay? Alright, and you said you had to break into your grandfather's house to get it?
Yeah, man.
That's pretty ambitious. I can't just let that go unnoticed, okay?
Thank you.
So extra for determination and balls, okay? And you had to pay somebody $20 to get here?
Mm-hmm.
We obviously have to reimburse you for that, okay?
Of course.
And you're gonna have to get home. Okay. Alright, so you're right. I did miscalculate a little bit. So you're looking at about 10 grand.
A few moments later.
All right.
Yes.
Ready? All right. Why you got?
I'm not doing anything.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Blaklist Podcast. If you're tuning in with us for the very first time today, I want to go ahead and introduce ourselves. This lovely lady to my left is the Queen Bee, Brianna Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm a queen today.
She's the queen, and my name is Jared Blaine, and we are the Blaklist Podcast. And without further ado, today's guest is a recovery content creator. Definitely climbing the ropes pretty hot. She's getting ready to pop. And all the way from Syracuse, New York, correct?
Yup, Syracuse.
All right, Syracuse, New York, ladies and gentlemen, Ty, the Jovial Junky.
I'm not good.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I'm honored to be on. Like, I feel like you guys are gonna pop too. So, like, I feel like this is awesome. Just like some dope humans having a conversation, helping each other go up the ladder. So I love this.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it too.
Very
You
cool.
know,
Randy,
like
you've been
this-
rocking with me for a minute. You've been supporting me for a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, for about 3 years.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Jared recently started watching your videos. He was watching them earlier too. And he just sits there and laughs and cracks up at them.
Cracks me up.
I
So-
love that, man. Thank you.
Definitely doing what you set out to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
my
I
favorite,
appreciate that.
I think my favorite one is it's probably the most viral one is the pawn shop one.
The pawn shop one. Yeah. You know what's crazy about that too is like that video. I made that video literally like I was laying in bed and it just kind of like came to me. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was like, damn, man, like I had gotten into like an argument with my girl and I was being like super irrational. I don't remember what we were arguing over, but I was like, she's like, you just want what you want when you want it. And I'm like, that instant gratification shit, man, even though I've been clean for 6 years, like it's still in me. And she's like, the world doesn't work the way you want it to just because you want it to. And I'm like, that's kind of a good idea for a fucking video. Like, what if the world did work the way addicts wanted it to? You know what I mean? And it just kind of, I made it in literally like 3 minutes.
Really?
Do you notice? your
Yeah,
shirt?
and the craziest part
I know this
about
is off
that is
topic.
I get a lot of shit because I do reposts sometimes, only because like I feel like if you make like a bomb ass television show, you're not gonna air it once and throw it away. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like that video, it's my second most viral video now, and that was a repost. I had posted it once before and it got no love. It got about like 300 views, and then I posted it again and it hit over 1 million. So I'm like, hell yeah, man, this is why I do it.
Yeah, she caught me one night. I was laying in bed and I was over there laughing my ass off. And she was like, what are you doing? And I showed her I was watching your videos and I was like, yeah, I had to do my research, before I bring
Right.
people on. I gotta know who they are.
Dude, I love that. Thank you guys for taking the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you said you've been sober for 6 years. Congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Quite a
Congrats.
feat. Every day is a small little milestone. What brought you to your addiction? Like your childhood, your background? Something
You
just
said
set
what brought me to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I always tell everybody, a lot of people ask me, what do I think is the gateway drug to addiction? I don't think it's weed. I don't think it's experimenting with your friends. I think it's childhood trauma, and I will always believe that. I know
Absolutely.
not everybody that is an addict experiences childhood trauma, but I'd say about 95% of the motherfuckers I know have. So my mother passed away when I was 8 years old. I never knew what happened to her. She was 27 years old and she just mysteriously dropped dead. No one gave me any answers, nothing. My dad ended up moving in with the upstairs neighbor like 2 weeks after my mother had passed. So like I was an angry ass kid. Like I lost my mom. I didn't know what happened to her. I got this new woman moving in that, you know, like right after she died. Like it really fucked me up. And I always had extreme anxiety. Always. I always thought that whatever got my mother was going to get me too. So even to this day, I have severe health anxiety. Like I'll be at work and I'll literally be like, oh shit, I'm going to have like a heart attack and die. Like I've just always had health anxiety from not having any answers from that. So I never knew how to deal with my anxiety. I was always angry. You know what I'm saying? And then when I was like 16 years old, so my grandmother, so my mother passed, like I said, my grandmother on my father's side raised me, and she had severe health issues. You know, she had been molested as a kid. She had experienced all kinds of trauma. So she was really fucked up. She had agoraphobia. She wouldn't even go outside for like 5 years. And when I was a kid, it was always, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Ty, get me a pill. Ty, get me a pill. I never, you know, as a child, I never put any thought into what those pills were. But when I was 16 years old, I stumbled on a fucking gold mine. My grandmother was prescribed 4 Xanax bars a day for 20 years. And she only took one. She would rip them up into pieces and she would take a quarter at a time. So she put away 3 bars for fucking 2 decades. And I stumbled on that when I was 16 years old. Had no idea what they even were. And my homeboy was like, yo, that's money. We can make money off of those. So like I started selling those to people and I fucking took them. I was literally drooling on myself for like 2 years. Xanax is the first thing that actually got its claws into me. So that's what started it.
I know a lot of people say, you know, you said trauma. Did you smoke weed before that, or was it just
I did smoke weed before that. Like regular, you know, teenage experimental shit. So like I smoked weed for the first time when I was like 11. I did not like it. I thought it was, you know, whatever. But then when I was 14, I started doing it again regularly and I fucking fell in love with it. I thought I was Scarface. I was going around my suburb, riding around on my fucking Huffy mini bike, fucking with a QP of bud, selling it just to say hi all day. So I did smoke a lot of weed before I got into addiction, but I think that was just its own thing. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think that brought me to want to try more things, because it was stumbling on the Xanax that brought me into the whole drug
And did you
world.
know what Xanax was before you found your grandma's?
No,
Or
I
did
had
you just
no
know her
idea.
taking it?
Bro, I had no idea. I just knew that when my grandma was anxious, she took a pill. I had no idea what it was. And then one day, I say my friend, but it was actually my brother, because I have a brother that's 2 years older than me. We fell into this shit together. And his friend was over there and he was in our medicine cabinet, like fucking around, like, oh, is there anything good in here? And then he's like, oh, fuck, there actually is. And he was telling us, like, that's Xanax. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
The following PSA is brought to you by The Phoenix. The Phoenix is not just a gym, it's a community where the real weight lifted is not just barbells, but hearts, minds, and spirits. Whether you're in recovery or simply choose to live a sober lifestyle, The Phoenix offers a range of activities from yoga to hiking, all led by people who've walked the path of transformation. So why not aim higher with The Phoenix? The first membership requirement is just 48 hours of sobriety. Rise from the ashes and soar with The Phoenix today. Do you know about naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan? This life-saving medication can reverse an opioid overdose in minutes. You might think, I don't need it, I'm not around opioids. But the truth is, you never know when you'll be in a situation where you could save a life. It's easy to use, and in many places offer it for free or at a low cost. So let's be prepared and look out for each other. Remember, you might not plan on being around opioid use, but you never know when it will be around you, and you could save the life of somebody that loves and is loved. I'm Chuck LaFlange with the Ashes to Awesome podcast, and remember, you are loved.
So, like I said, I had just stumbled on bottles upon bottles of Xanax at 16 years old, and that was basically what started it for me. Xanax was the first thing that actually got its claws into me. It was the first time that I felt my anxiety go away. It was the first time that I could shut off my fucking brain. But it also had me doing all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is about those things, but I still to this day blame them for some of my memory loss, man, because I have chunks, like whole eras of my life missing from them, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm right there with you on that because like I grew up with like mad anxiety, where I would call an ambulance like 3 times, 4 times a week. Like I literally thought I would go to the hospital. I thought I was dying. It was absolutely horrible. And for the longest time, like I couldn't leave my house or walk around without having, anxiety medication, at being, that early on. And yeah, it does. It fucks with your memory 100% because then you could take it. The next thing you know, you wake and you don't remember shit that happened.
Right.
But I used to deal with it all the time though, and people that don't deal with anxiety they don't understand it.
Right.
But
Do you know where that anxiety came from? You always had it?
Probably the same shit, trauma.
Yeah.
I honestly, yeah, I think so. I've had so much. I mean, this is about you, not me, but there was shit that happened. I mean, I watched my stepdad, die in front of my eyes, and just molested and different things like that. So for me, I think that was like when I was old enough to understand and deal with the anxiety. Like I think all that shit was,
Yeah.
like I don't. You may know this, but like when I get freaked out about like the kids near the edge, it's because I watched at 13 years old. I watched my stepfather fall 200 feet off a cliff, and like I watched him die. So for me,
Unintentionally, he fell.
he slipped. He was intoxicated and he
Oh my God.
fell off. So for me, like I have I get terrified when like my kids or her kids are like anywhere near a ledge at all. Like it scares the shit out of me.
Of course.
And I'm just off wandering off like, oh no, they're good. They know better. And I'm just off doing my own thing. But then
I'm like you, dude. I'm hyper alert of everything because of the shit I've been through.
Everywhere. I'm looking at everything. And it doesn't help. I was in the funeral industry for some years. So I used to work with the medical examiners going and picking up on scenes and car accidents and suicides and homicides and all that. So for me, like I'm sitting here thinking 1,000 ways to die.
Yep.
And
Literally.
so I'm watching everything. I'm observing everything. So
dude, that's me. That's literally how I am.
We go somewhere and I'm like looking for an exit. Like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, what's the first place you can do?
Dude, that's like I cannot go anywhere, any public place without looking for an exit. That's just how I am. A movie theater, a grocery store, it does not matter where. That anxiety has never left me. It's just in me,
Right.
And it's so fucking stressful. Like
yeah.
that was the main reason why I relapsed so many times is like my anxiety is just literally crippling, It's gotten better with time, but that was always my biggest demon was my anxiety,
Yeah. Now that I'm an adult, I just sleep through it. I sleep a lot.
God, I wish I could fall asleep during a panic attack, man. I'm like, it's crazy.
I sleep so I can't be awake and experience those feelings.
Yeah, that sounds like depression, Brandy.
It is depression.
Yeah.
Brandy. Called you Brandy.
That's your name, right?
Brianna. It's on your screen.
Oh my fucking God. I am so sorry.
I will edit that part out.
Edit that shit out, Jared. Oh my God. Listen. I know your name is Brianna. I'm telling you, my memory is scrambled, bro. And I've had somebody named Brandy commenting on my TikTok all night. I'm so sorry. Oh my
Edit.
God.
I'm writing it on the whiteboard. 6 minutes in.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. And for the record, to anyone that's watching this and not just listening, this is not my room. I do not know who these K-pop motherfuckers are. This is not my poster. I am in my teenage sister-in-law's bedroom. I forgot this interview existed because of the Xanax I took 10 years ago. Sorry.
Lord.
I was pointing out your sweater to him a little while ago too, because I actually sent him that sweater yesterday, and I was like,
dude.
I want that.
Trap awareness.
I want that. And listen, my manager at work is the most amazing person ever. I showed her a picture of that, and she told me I could wear it to work.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I've just been wearing my shit, man. I didn't even think about the
I
problematic.
have a hoodie I wore earlier. It says, do DILFs, not drugs. And like, I've got shirts that say fuck fentanyl dealers, and she lets me wear it all to work.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So at 16, you started taking Xanax. Did you graduate high school, or did that affect you in school?
So it's fucking crazy, man. So like I said, I started using Xanax while I was a junior. And then everything just kind of went downhill from there. As a senior, that's when I really started to get into Oxycontin. I don't know if you know my story, like the story with that. So I was dabbling with the Xanax for a while. And then my older brother, actually, he was the first person that I saw have an Oxycontin. And, so once I tried that, like me and my friends, like we would do it on the weekends. It was like a fun thing. I know Oxycontin is not really viewed as like a party drug, but that's how we were using it. We were using it like we all kind of had like the same issues. We all loved the way it made us feel. We're like, oh, we're going to do this on the weekends and hang out and blah, 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 whatever. So we're doing that. And then spring break, senior year hits, and we do it for 2 weeks straight. And my dumb, naive ass actually thought that I had the flu because I had never heard of dope sickness. I didn't know any addicts at this point in time. Like I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is I was sick as fuck. And it was so crazy because I had actually bought like a bunch of like Oxycontin 80s and I had them in my pocket and I was not doing them. The weekend came and I was just sitting on them because I'm like, oh, I only do this to feel good with my homies. Like I don't want to waste it. And I'll never forget it. My older brother came in my room like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, like, I think I got the flu. Like, I don't feel good. Back then, the swine flu was huge. I was always paranoid. I'm like, motherfucker, I think I got the swine flu right now. He's like, listen, bitch, you need to do those pills. I'm like, I don't want to waste them. He's like, you are dope sick. You need to do those pills and you're going to feel better. And I couldn't even comprehend what he was saying because I really had never heard of it before, bro. This is like 2008. Like, I was 17 years old. I had never met anybody that had gone through that shit before. I lived in a really nice town and, I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I remember I crushed up half an OC80, sniffed it, felt like $1 million fucking bucks. And after I realized like, oh shit, I have to do these to like not be sick. Then it was off to the fucking races. That's when shit really got crazy because that's when I was started to do anything to keep that sickness away. You know what I mean? So like when people are like, oh, did you literally like, how do you just fall into drug addiction? No, you literally do. Like I was a teenager experimenting with my homies and all of a sudden, boom, I need this pill to fucking survive. So that's how it happened for me. I really did just fall into it.
I say it's the difference between using drugs, just using them, and then abusing them.
Right.
And like you said, like people don't look at oxys as a party drug, but that's how it starts.
Right.
It absolutely does. Like I remember when my addiction started, I was taking them for fun.
Right.
And then I started doing the 30s. And I remember the guy that I was with told me, he's like, be careful, be careful, be careful. But he would never stop getting them for me.
Right.
And I remember it was just fun. They'd be buying 5-6 pills at a time and I'm buying 2, and it's lasting me and I'm cutting them in half and, oh, I'm saving them. And then one day it just got sick. And that's what it is. It really is a party drug. And then some of us have that addict gene in us and some of us don't.
Right, because back then at that point in time, one Oxycontin 80, I was using a fucking hose clamp and that shit was lasting me like 3 days in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one pill. So it wasn't like I was buying massive amounts of pills and going through them crazy, like, but I do think it's also worth noting that at this point in time, I also had some like gastro issues. So like my appendix actually ruptured inside my body and I had to have my gallbladder taken out as well. So I wasn't a lot of pain at this point in time, but I didn't know what was going on. I just thought I had like severe stomach issues and I didn't know why. So like that also went away when I would do the oxys because I didn't go to the hospital for a very long time. So long that my appendix literally ruptured inside my fucking body. So like that was also another thing. Like I liked how it took that pain away as well,
Well, how long did it was in your body that it ruptured?
Dude, so my appendix, I was having stomach issues for about a week. And like I was telling my dad, I'm like telling him that I'm like having like crazy stomach pains. And he's like, oh, you're fine. It'll pass. But then all of a sudden, like I'm at work and I cannot fucking move. And I'm like, something does not feel right. And I'm like talking to my boss, mind you, I'm like a minor. And they're like, oh, well, you can't. I'm a fucking dishwasher at a diner. They wouldn't let me leave. But I called my grandma and my grandma came in like, you got to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. They're like, your appendix literally ruptured. So like, it was so bad. They couldn't even take it out of my body. They had to like pump me full of antibiotics and shit. They said I could have died from that,
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, depending on how long you had it, because normally, like after like a day or two, you could die from that shit.
Dude, it was like the appendix. I was having stomach issues for like 6 days.
Jesus Christ, you're lucky.
I am very, very lucky. I know my siblings like to remind me of that all the time. They're like, bitch, if we lived in the fucking 1800s, you'd be dead by now. You're weak.
The drugs were better back then, though.
Right.
Well, pure.
Well, no, but like how you were saying, like how you were able to make like one pill last, I mean, and the shit's not like now everything's with fentanyl in it. And so, back then you were able to like make one pill last a while, a hot minute. And now,
and you didn't have to worry about fucking dying from it unless you went crazy doing one bump, and that's the main reason why I'm like, it's half the reason why I post these videos is because like these fucking youngins, bro, they don't understand. Like back then we could dabble and experiment. You can't do that anymore. Like I'm seeing fucking stories of 14-year-olds trying Xanax for the first time and dying because it's straight fetty. Like it's crazy.
It's sad. It really is sad because compared to our time to now, like I can't, and it like it sucks because kids they are going to do shit unfortunately, but like
right,
you got to worry about them going to a party and just trying something once and that's it. And we're just like, what a world that we live in. Like holy shit.
I know.
Like that's why I could, even if I wanted to use again and relapse, I couldn't because I would be so fucking terrified that I would take one hit and just fucking die.
Bro, I just made a video about this and I got a lot of backlash from it because that's the God's honest truth. So the days where I feel really, really weak and I'm like, oh my God, I would do anything to shut it off. I'm terrified because I would probably fucking die. Like I got out right before I had done fentanyl before. When I got out, fentanyl was like, it was in like 1 out of every like fucking 10 batches and you were trying to find it, but it wasn't fucking killing everybody. You know what I mean? Like, so like, that's my thing. I'm like, it's like straight fentanyl now. One of my siblings is struggling with addiction and they'll call me like, how long do I have to wait after doing a bag to take my sub? And me back then, you could wait 12, maybe 24 hours if you're unlucky. This motherfucker is going 3 whole days without anything. And the sub, he's still going through precipitated withdrawal because that's how strong the fentanyl is. Like I would fucking die. I would literally die. So that's one of the main things that keeps me sober is I don't want to fucking die. Back then when I was relapsing, my worst fears were fucking not being able to stop, fucking losing my job, fucking being homeless, going off the rails. Like, no, like there's like a 75% chance you're not going to wake up. You're going to die. And my last relapse actually, so that's what happened to me. Like my last relapse was after like fentanyl had like taken over my town. And I remember getting a bundle like I had done through so many relapses before. And I would literally, because I was always scared, I would do a half a bag. And then I woke up. Like I wasn't even getting high. My last relapse, I was doing a shot and I was waking up. Like not even experiencing the rush, the nod. Sorry if it's triggering to anybody. I'm just being honest. I wasn't experiencing anything good. It was like I was knocked the fuck out and then just coming to and being lucky that I was coming to. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even understand how it's enjoyable anymore. I really don't.
You must have read my mind because when you were saying that, like my stomach was over here turning.
Yeah, because I know how it makes me feel talking about it. So I'm sorry for being too gritty.
But we make it for like this is why we do this. Because even though it could be triggering and it's graphic and this and that, like people need to know the fucking truth about this shit. Like they gotta know the cold hard truth about it. And so this is why we have disclaimers and whatnot. And again, we're sorry if it is triggering, but this is truth.
Right. And to anybody listening, I am sorry if it's triggering. I just need you to know how fucking serious this shit is. Cause I'm telling you, it's that crazy. My best friend from the time I was 12 years old died 3 years ago. This is how crazy this shit is. So like I said, I have an older brother that is 2 years older than me. My brother and 3 of my childhood best friends, right? All went to COP together 3 years ago. All 3 of them went to COP. They each got 3 bags. They were all hurting for money. They all had like fucking $15 each. They divvied it up, went to the same source. You get 3, you get 3, I get 3. All did the same fucking dope, man. But for some reason, and my boy did 1 bag. He did 1 bag at a fucking time, and he gone within seconds. Within seconds, they found him. Fucking, they found him with his fucking Newport fucking freshly lit, not even burned down, because that's how quick the shit took him. It's literally like sitting in, and that's what I compare it to. It's like me and all my friends from high school just sat in a fucking circle and started playing Russian roulette. It is luck of the fucking draw, because there is a very good chance that you will be the motherfucker that gets that bad bag. You know what I mean? It's that fucking crazy. And that random.
Yeah, no, it is my cousin, unfortunately, he just died last week from fentanyl, and he was using with 2 other people, and he was the only one that died. And
what is that?
And like my aunt was like questioning, like, how the hell did all of them use, and he was the only one? And of course, there's many factors that come into it, but yeah, it is Russian roulette. You might as well put a bullet in there and just pull the trigger, because every single time that you take it, it's a 50% chance that you're going to live or die.
Literally.
Like you got out like right when the fentanyl was kind of becoming, like, for me, like that was my shit. I just hit 5 years a couple weeks ago, but that was my shit. Like, I was looking for the fentanyl. I only wanted the fentanyl, nothing else. But it was, and of course, I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, so everything was coming up from the border. But
oh my fucking
of course,
God,
almost it's like 90% of the pills were fentanyl at that point. God. But it's a fucking. I had people tell me, like, doctors and EMTs, and they'd be like, one day you're gonna wake up, you're gonna take it, you're gonna go to sleep and never wake up. And like that still wasn't enough. Like, still was not enough.
No, because, and that's what I compare it to with everybody, man. Like, and again, another trigger warning. I never go on my channel and I'm like, oh my God, like it feels fucking amazing. It is the greatest feeling in the fucking world. I am salivating just thinking about it. But there is a fucking price to pay for something that powerful. That fucking amazing high that you feel, that low is equally as fucking powerful. And like the cost is your fucking life. Like, it's that serious. If drugs didn't feel amazing, we wouldn't have any drug addicts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels fucking amazing, but is it worth your fucking life for a temporary fucking feeling that's gonna fade in fucking 20 minutes? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Too, I'm not an addict. I get prescribed it. It's from a doctor. But if you're not taking it the right way,
you're abusing.
You're an addict. You're abusing it.
Right.
You're not just using it. You're abusing it.
And that's a really good point too. That is a really good point, actually. So, I made a video. I don't know if you saw the video that I made about how Xanax made me snitch on myself. So in my video, I made the mistake of actually basically how I had just described it to you guys. I went on TikTok and I was like, hey guys, like, I'm going to tell you a story about when I did some crazy shit on Xanax. I always had anxiety. And so when I found Xanax and I heard that it could make my anxiety go away, I took them, and then this happened. And one of the commenters were like, you didn't just take Xanax. If you took Xanax, like, this wouldn't have happened. This happened because you fucking abused them, because you can't take one, because you took 10, bitch. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I need to clarify this. She's like, you're like putting misinformation out there, and unintentionally I was. So that's a really good point. Some people can just take it as prescribed, but I've never been one of those fucking people, you know?
I'm jealous of those people that can, not jealous, but
right. No, I know what you mean though.
There's people that can take it the way they're supposed to, and I've graduated rehab 3 times because I want to know the ins and outs of addiction and what causes it with us and stuff like that. And you can tell from childhood. You can look at kids and what they're doing and their behaviors and know if they're going to be an addict or not.
Yes, I go over this with my wife and my stepson all the time. He has some behaviors that really bother me, and I feel like if people paid attention to the warning signs, we can get in front of it, And my wife is not an addict, so she's not looking through the lens that I'm looking through. I'm seeing my son, and I'm seeing him, we'll give everyone a piece of candy, And then all of a sudden, he's in the bathroom, the entire bowl is gone, and there's 1,000 fucking wrappers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you give him a piece of candy, and he's not okay with 1, 2, pushing it like most kids. Like, he's going to steal it from all of you so that he can have it later. And I'm like, bro, like, I feel like that is some addict behavior. Like, I feel like the fucking rush that these kids get from fucking sugar and like, I feel like that's a warning sign. So I look out for that kind of shit, and I try to moderate him with things that feel too good. You know what I'm saying? Because he just always wants more of everything.
Gratification.
Yeah.
I made a video back in the day. I'm like, when I was a kid, I guess you're right. Like, there always were warning signs, because I was the exact same way as him. You know what I'm saying? My dad buys a fucking box of zebra cakes for each one of us kids to split, and I'm stashing them bitches around the house. I'm like trying to tell her, I'm like, we got to be careful with these things, because I'm telling you, like, if you pay attention, the signs are there.
Right.
If behaviors continue, then turn out like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was the turning point for you?
Man, to try to pinpoint it. So I had been to rehab probably like 7 or 8 times. There were several times where I went to rehab just because I did not have shelter, because I needed somewhere to go. I mean, there was one, this last time in particular was just really bad. Like you ever hear when they say, like, each time that you get sober and you go to rehab and you get clean, your disease is just doing push-ups, just waiting and getting stronger that whole time it's there. It's just dormant. I believe that shit is true, because every single time I got clean and I went back out, it was always a million times worse. So my last relapse, I had been clean for 9 months. Ended up relapsing. It was fucking terrible. I lost everything within a matter of weeks. I had a free apartment from the government just because I was a recovering addict. I was doing really well. But this last time, man, like, so I ended up finding out I had hepatitis C, which was fucking, I was 23, 24 years old at that point in time, and I thought it was a death sentence. Now I know that it's not, but back then that really fucked me up. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to die? I didn't have the stigma around it was crazy. I'm fine now. I took a med, whatever, it's gone. But, it was just bad, man. There was one night in particular, I was really, really fucked up. I robbed one of my best friends. Like, there was this girl, I was absolutely in love with her as a teenager. She was like the first girl I had ever been with. Like, I really cared about this girl is what I'm getting at. And I was so fucked up that one day she called me for dope. And I remember being at my boy's crib. I punched his fucking wall, and I took sheetrock out of it. And I put sheetrock into fucking 10 empty bags, and I sold it to her. And this girl was a diabetic. It's like a juvenile diabetic. So whichever the kind that was. You know what I mean? We weren't kids anymore, but she had been a diabetic since we were kids. So she wasn't even supposed to be drinking alcohol or anything, let alone shooting dope, let alone shooting sheep. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up robbing her. Yeah, fucking drywall. So
I'm not trying to laugh, but oh my God.
I know. So I don't know what I was thinking. I give it to her for $100. I'm willing to sell my fucking soul and my best friend's life for $100 fucking dollars, right? She calls me, and immediately after, I turn around to the dope man. I got him meeting me. She's calling me, Tyree, you're going to fucking jail. I'm in the hospital. I shot that shit up, and these cops, you're wanted for attempted murder and blah, 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 blah. All this crazy shit, right? Like, I'm pressing charges. You're going to fucking prison, bitch. I was like scared. I'm like, oh, fuck. But I had to put that on the back burner because I was going to be sick soon. So, like, I'm like, all right, I'll handle this later. I call my dope man. Oh man, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I'm sorry. So I call my dope man. I'm so fucked up. He picks me up. I'm riding around in his car, and he's like, all right, where do you want me to drop you off at? And I'm like, shit, man, I don't really have anywhere to go. And he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, bitch. Like, I'm just selling you the shit. I'm not your friend. Like where you need to go. And I'm like, yo, just pull over real quick so I can get right. Like, I'm super sick. And he was just, because this dude didn't like do drugs. He was just a dealer. And I could see the disgust in his fucking eyes. Like, I'm in his car. I'm asking him to pull over on the side of the road so I can get some fucking puddle rainwater to do my shot. I got a girl calling me talking about I robbed her for fucking sheetrock and I'm going to jail. He's like, get the fuck out of my car, bitch. Like, do not call me anymore. So then he left me stranded in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I'm just literally in the middle of nowhere with the dope that I fucking needed so desperately that I was willing to almost kill my best friend for. And it's like, I'm just looking around on this fucking dark ass road like, well, you got what you wanted, bitch. Like, what now? So I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I need fucking help. And then I went to rehab. But basically, yeah, I just sunk too fucking low. First of all, I wanted to hide from the police because I really did think I was going to go to like prison for almost killing this bitch. So I was scared about that. And then I also had nowhere to go. And so like when I got there, like and my head started to clear up, I'm like, what the fuck have I been doing? You know what I mean?
Like the aha moment.
Yeah, like holy shit, like what the fuck have I been doing? And then I'm in rehab and everybody's like writing letters to people and taking phone. You get like a 3-minute phone call every night and I have nobody to call. I have nobody to call. I have nobody to write because that's how fucking ruthless I was in my addiction. I had nobody but myself, you know?
Was your friend okay?
She was okay from that, yes.
Did she actually shoot it up and end up in the hospital?
Bro, to this day, I don't know the answer to that. She claims that she did shoot it up and ended up in the hospital, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you saw that, you'd be like, fuck, this bitch got me. But I don't know if you're desperate enough. I don't know. But to that, I do still talk to her here and there, and she still claims that she did it.
Yeah, I mean, she does. You do make sense. Like, I don't even know if you like even putting water in it. It doesn't break down the way that it should. So,
bro,
I don't know.
I would have tasted that shit right away and been like, "What the fuck is this?" So I mean, I don't know. We debate this shit. You know, this is a girl that I've known since I was 10 years old. Small town shit. You know what I mean? And like to this day, I'm like, how the fuck did you even? You know what I'm saying? But if she didn't do it, she's a good ass liar because she will not budge. She swears to God she did.
Was this the same girl that you had made a video on about how you took her dope in the middle of the night or something, and you were like, "No, I would never do that to you," but then you put in captions, "But I did."
It's a different girl.
I'm sorry, but I was laughing my ass off on that because you were going through the screenshots, and then you're just like, "But I did."
It's a different fucking girl. Yeah, not even her.
Okay. And I just think that's crazy. Like I save everything on my phone too, and I think it's like you make light of it, but it's crazy to have those receipts to go along with your stories and to relive that, to realize how that you're a better person now.
So my girl asked me that too. Like I think it comes from, honestly, I think it comes from losing people at a young age. I've always had this thing. I've always journaled. I've always documented everything. Like I don't, especially now that like my memory is so trash. I don't know, man. Like I've just always been somebody that wants to be able to look back at pictures and conversations and remember those moments. You know what I mean? Because people drop like flies in this fucking world. You know what I'm saying? Like in this fucking, especially like my friends that I've grown up with, like I'd say probably like 60% of them are gone. So I've just always had a thing for hanging on to the past, I guess. It's probably not healthy, but I've just always done it. I just can't bring myself to delete it. Anything. Even now, like in my phone, I've never deleted a text message ever. I don't delete anything. I can't.
I don't know how y'all do that because I gotta delete my shit. I don't know.
Dude, I have like 500, or I literally think it's like 500 browsers open in my phone right now. I don't know. I'm just a weirdo, man. I've always been like this. But I don't know if you guys saw the video. I'm glad that I'm like this because one of those videos, I don't know if you caught it, I go through all the addiction text messages and everyone's in the comments laughing, haha, oh my God, this is so funny. But at the end, I tell them every single person, there were 5 different people. I showed 5 different text messages and every single one of those people are gone now. Everyone. So, I'm glad that I do hang on to those kind of things. I mean, and it's like a reminder for me. Like, I don't know. It's really weird. It's easy to get like complacent, like, because that life feels like a whole nother life a time ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking married now. I got kids. I work fucking 60 hours a week. Like, it feels like I'm talking about a different person. So sometimes I need that fucking reminder, like, no, bitch, that fucked up motherfucker was you. Like, don't forget, you know?
And I just think like it's, as addicts, we do crazy stuff. It's like some of these people you were lying to, and now you can be honest about it. And then other people you were just straight up honest with. Like I was laughing last night about the Girl Scout cookie one where your friend's boyfriend was like, "Yo, why'd you do that?" And you're like, "I just needed money. Like, sorry, should I not have?"
Right.
Like, my bad.
That actually is really funny and interesting when you point that out, because like it is weird how like I would pick and choose who so like now, like I was such a fucking liar in my addiction. Like I lied about fucking everything and I don't know why. Like it was almost like psychological. Like I just lied about everything. So like now I'm like brutally honest to the point where sometimes it seems insensitive, but I always tell people, I'm like, yo, I use my lies up in active addiction. I don't have time for that shit. Like I just, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird looking back at those messages. I feel like such a freak. I don't even know what possessed me to start sharing those shits, honestly. I just did it one night and then people gravitated towards it. I don't know. I don't know. Because those messages are fucked
Girl
up.
Scout cookies. She was going around selling Girl Scout cookies to people and keeping the money. She wasn't really selling Girl Scout cookies. She was just using the money for drugs.
Yeah, I'd walk around with like a little Girl Scout cookie brochure, like, how much would you like? How many would you like? And I just pocket all the money.
That's so.
Listen,
So
we know,
but you know, keeping those messages though, it also reminds you of who you can be in a heartbeat. Like, unfortunately, we can never say we're going to stay sober the rest of our lives. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't happen. We can become the person that we were in an instant. And so having those memories and having those, it just reminds me like, this is who I was, and this is who I can still become this person. So it helps you try to like, nah, I don't ever want to fucking become that person ever again.
Absolutely. And like I'll still get glimpses of it too. Like sometimes my wife will look at me like, what the fuck? So you guys know like those baby like syringes that they use for like the kids' medicine? So like my fucking son had like an ear infection and I'm like flicking the needle and I'm like just like playing with it. And my wife's looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know why I did that, you know? Like something else happened too. Like one of her friends like wanted like some bud or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh, well, let's bang this bitch in the head and tell her it's an extra $50. And my wife's like, why? Like, you make fucking mad money. Like, we are fine. This is our friend. Why do you need to be like that? And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, why am I doing that? You know what I mean?
I take the fucking salt packet from McDonald's and I'm flicking the bag, trying to get it all at the bottom.
Yes, I do that with the ramen noodle packet too.
Yep. Yep.
Those you have to. The
some shit just doesn't leave you. You know what I mean?
Like actually, for the longest. Go for it.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I was in the halfway house and I had 9 months sober, and this is gonna sound completely fucking insane, but for some reason I missed the whole routine of it so much that even though I was sober, I would just get a rig and I would just shoot up water. Just because I wanted to see that. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why are we like this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I say we. I'm not going to lump you guys in there. But, just weird shit like
addicts
that.
In general.
Yeah.
Oh, it's everyone.
It's
just addicts in general, you know?
The action of doing it, I can recall quite a few times going to pick up a bag. I don't have anything to break it out on. So I'm fucking sniffing bags on my way back to the house. And I did not feel right until I put it down and broke it up into a line and snorted it that way. Because out of the bag, even though I was getting it, it wasn't the same. I had to do those motions.
Our little rituals, man. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just like cigarettes too. All these people getting off of nicotine and using the vapes and stuff like that. It's just something to do.
Yep. Yeah, man, that was the hardest thing for me, honestly, cigarettes, man, because of I smoked Newport 100s for fucking a decade. And when COVID hit, dude, my health anxiety was so out of fucking control. That was like my worst nightmare. It was like, It was crazy. But I was so scared of COVID when it hit because it felt like the fucking apocalypse at first. I never touched a cigarette again. March 2020 hit and I stopped smoking cigarettes like it was nothing. And I'm like, how the hell did I do that? That's how powerful my brain and my anxiety is. I'm like, bitch, your lungs are compromised. You're gonna die. But like the biggest thing for me was like my hands. Like I needed something to do with my hands. So like everyone's like, you talk with your hands so much, and I'm like, it's just how I've always been. So I know what you mean when you say that, you know.
So when did you start making TikTok?
I got on TikTok in like 2021.
And what was the reasoning behind that?
So my girl has always been on TikTok. And I remember I always thought TikTok was like corny. I thought it was like teeny boppers and dances and shit like that. So like my whole family was like a bunch of TikTok and fools. They're doing different shit. They're doing like trends and dancing and shit like that. So I really thought it was whack. But I have a friend, her name's Ashley. What's her name on TikTok? She's pretty big on TikTok, actually. She's got like I don't know her name, but her name's Ashley.
Name's Karma on there?
Yes, Karma. Yes, that's her name.
Ashley
on there.
Ladd. Yep.
Yeah, so I've known her like for years. Like we're from the same town. She's from Syracuse. We actually met in Detox back in like 2009, and we go way back. But she showed me her TikToks. She was doing a thing called like the Addict Diaries, where she was just like telling her story, and she showed it to me, and she's like, "You should do this," because she knows me. She knows how fucking wild my life was back then. And she was like, I really think you should get on TikTok and tell your story. You got like a really crazy, powerful story that a lot of people can relate to, but it's also unique because you take shit to the extremes. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. So I went on and I was like, yo guys, what's up? My name's Ty. And like, I don't have any friends because they're all dead. So like, I'm just going to start using this as like my diary. And I just went on and started spilling my guts, and people started fucking with me.
How did you feel about being vulnerable like that with strangers at first?
No, it felt really, really good actually, because I was very lucky. I didn't get a lot of hate at all. Like it was all love. Like everybody was like, wow, like I relate to this, or wow, like thank you for saying what like we don't want to say. Like especially I was getting a lot of love from a lot of like studs or like lesbians or like masculine presenting women, because like I don't give a fuck if you are a female and you are a drug addict, unless you are a unicorn, 1 out of a million, you've done some sexual shit for fucking money. It is what it is. It you know what I'm saying? So like I was getting on and I was talking about that shit. Like, yeah, like I'm a lesbian, but I've had to do some weird shit to support my habit. So like a lot of lesbians were messaging me like, yo, thank you. Like we're too embarrassed to talk about this shit. Like you make me feel not so ashamed of the shit that I don't have the nerve to say. So it was like, cool. Like, fuck yeah. Like this shit's actually like helping people and making people feel better about themselves. I was having people message me like, dude, like you made recovery not feel so out of reach, because a lot of people on social media, they like to put on this like persona. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like everything is great and like recovery is all fucking cooked. Like it doesn't work like that. Recovery's fucking hard. Drugs are awesome. It's hard to get away from them, but once you do, your life's gonna be a million times better, and you're gonna be the version of yourself that you wouldn't be able to be on them. So like I feel like people respect like my realness. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of different recovery creators, but I feel like they sugarcoat shit. And they just get on and they do their little morning routines and act like everything's perfect, but that's not how fucking life is, you know?
And again, that goes back to us doing this to show people, you know, that recovery isn't all rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You're gonna wake up. You're going to want to use like you're gonna want. I mean, unfortunately that's just the way it is. Like you're gonna wake up. You're gonna have feelings. You're gonna have dreams, you're going to have this, that, and the third. It's not like you just get in recovery and then everything goes away. No.
Right. Absolutely.
Set you, you know, apart from everybody else too. And I'm sure there's other people out there that do it, but the fact that you save everything. So a lot of your stories come with the messages, and
Right. And I
That's
do think a lot of people like that too. They like, because you never know what's real anymore. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are, you really have to be careful who you follow because a lot of people are just liars. So like, I do think that people like seeing the receipts, you know what I mean? Because not a lot of people, who the fuck has their messages from a decade ago? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it
And
does, like
then,
you said, it shows the realness of your stories, and that's another thing that people can relate to.
right. And then
Remember,
also, I do think another thing that people really gravitated towards is the fact that I am on Suboxone. I know that there's a lot of stigma around Matt and methadone and Suboxone and all that shit. And I feel like the recovery community is very divided on that. It's like, oh, well, you're still taking something. All right, well, I'm not putting a fucking needle in my arm and robbing everyone I know and sucking some random trucker's dick. Okay, so fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, chill out. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
taking
mean,
a fucking pill. I'm going to work and I'm paying my taxes. Like, if it's really bothering you that much, then unfucking follow me. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, I take kratom. Like I take kratom. That's what I've taken for 5 years.
Yeah.
And people have different views on it. Like, well, you're still taking something, blah, blah, blah. Well, listen, at the end of the day, there's more than one way to recover.
Right.
And you can't shame someone for recovering different. So if you feel that way, fuck you. And like you said, go and follow because, but then I've had some really good conversations with people where they don't agree with it, but they respect it and they understand it. And then I've had some conversation with people that are just like, "You're not sober," and I'm just like, "Well, fuck you then."
Right.
I
Absolutely.
use Suboxone to get sober, but I've also been off of Suboxone for almost 2 years. December
That's awesome.
27th of
Congratulations.
December 27th of 2021, I believe, was the last time I
Hell
dosed.
yeah.
Big
Dude,
dose,
that's awesome. I
and
also
it's Matt saves lives. It absolutely does. But I can totally tell the difference between the way my mind works from getting off of Suboxone. It is
yeah, how so?
completely different. The only way I can explain it is you're like in a fog when you're on it. It's still suppressing some emotions and some feelings, and it's stopping a lot of those thoughts, that we
Huh.
have, and it stops the thoughts of using. Like, you still have thoughts of using, but can you imagine taking away that Suboxone? How more frequent those thoughts are going to be, and how
Right.
much more intense that those thoughts are going to be.
Right.
And
And
some
that's why I don't get off it because I think that is, for me personally, I think that's dangerous. I'm not going to lie. You got me with the fog thing because a bitch is walking around all
And
fogged
I
up.
didn't
Not
realize
really.
it until I got off of it. I didn't realize that I was in that fog until I got off of it.
So yeah, I definitely can see what you're saying about that. But then like my exact reason for not getting off it is exactly what you said. Like the thought of those cravings and those thoughts coming back with a vengeance.
Mhm.
Me personally, like I know there's a lot of people that can do it without Suboxone, but I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'll ever get off the shit because I just don't know if I'm one of those people that can, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to be self-aware and know yourself well enough to be like, if I don't have something helping me, I'm not going to make it. And that's how I was. I had tried to do it without Suboxone several times and I failed every time. If I were going to get it, it might be this time. But then I also think, all right, I was a fucking 25-year-old kid and I failed without it. So now I'm fucking 32 years old. I got 3 fucking badass kids. I work a physically demanding job. Like, what's going to happen if I try to get off this pill right
Yeah.
now? You know what
Suboxone
I'm
works for
saying? So
some
I'm not going
people.
to chance it. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Maybe when my kids graduate or some shit, you know?
Yeah. What works for you works for you at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Suboxone works for some people.
Right.
Methadone, works for some people. Complete chemical abstinence works for some people.
Yeah.
What you said though, like I had an amazing doctor that helped me. Like
Right.
she helped tremendously, and I don't think I would have gotten off Suboxone in the way that I did if it weren't for her. Because there are times, we would talk just like she was my therapist. We would talk, and I would be like, I think I'm ready to taper again, and she's like, No, you're not. You have too much going on in your life. She's like, We'll meet again in a week. I'm going to prescribe you the same amount. If you want to take less, take less. But I'm not going to set you up for failure because you have so much on your plate and so much going on that if we do cut you back, you're probably going to fail,
Yeah.
and it's some people will have to be on Suboxone for the rest of their life.
And that's amazing because honestly, man, I've had some shady ass sub doctors that just want cash and don't give a fuck about you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was absolutely wonderful having her.
So before we wrap up, what so what is the future looking like for you?
I'm not sure, man. I have no idea. I'm just gonna keep grinding, man. I'm gonna keep doing my regular average Joe fucking life that I prayed for. You know, I'm gonna keep raising my kids. I'm gonna keep busting my ass in this factory, and I'm gonna keep making videos, and I'm gonna fucking pray that they take off, so I don't gotta do this shit anymore. You know,
they will. Like, you'll be doing it full time here soon,
dude. And I believe in you guys, man. Like, I feel really good about your podcast. Like, I feel like we might look back on this episode in like 3 years, and it's like, yo, remember when we were broke? Wasn't that crazy? And we just
remember when our studio. Remember when we were sitting in closets?
Right. Remember when you were in a fucking closet and I had a fucking K-pop poster behind me?
Yep. Nope, I agree.
Well, thank you guys for having me on, man. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this for real.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said before, we're gonna have to set up something to meet in person next summer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we're only 2 hours away, so.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. I would love that. Yeah. It's hard to find like-minded souls for real, you know?
And that's awesome that your wife, you know, she may not be an addict, but that's awesome that you have her support. And that's wonderful, you know, to find somebody in your life to support you like that.
She tries, man. She tries. And, you know, I remember she's the first girl I dated that wasn't an addict, you know, and I remember thinking like, oh, nobody could ever understand me besides another addict, but it's such a lie. It's a trick. It's not true, you know?
Let, for the people that are watching and listening, let them know where they can find you. Let them know on your socials, and we'll put the links in the description, but go ahead and let them know.
Yeah, guys, you can follow me on TikTok at the Jovial Junky. I'm also on Instagram. I just created one, and YouTube. So follow me. I love you.
Are they all the same? The Jovial Junky and
all the same. Yep, the Jovial Junky, but Junky with a Y. I couldn't put the IE. It wouldn't let me. So.
On that note, how the fuck did you come up with that name? Just quick.
this is gonna get me in trouble. So my first TikTok name that I tried was the Redeemed Retard. Problematic, I know. But it didn't work. I got banned right away before I even made 1 follower. So then I was like, what is me? Like, and I'm like, the Jovial Junky. Like, I'm a fucking jolly ass junkie, you know?
And let me say too, somebody commented the other day and said that you're not good at telling stories. You are very good at telling stories.
Man, fuck that bitch, man.
You may not be good at anything, but you're good at telling stories.
That's what I said. I'm like, there's a lot of shit I'm not good at, but this ain't one of them, bitch. You can't take this from me.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I agree with you.
We got this thing with the haters that like, I'm going to get this made into a shirt one time. When I first started this, of course, you're going to have hate. And it was just like, and we came up with saying, fuck that guy. So, you know.
I love that.
We get a shirt. And so someone comes in there and says anything like, people like when we used to have lives and whatnot, the regulars would be in there and someone would come on and troll and everybody would be like, fuck that guy, fuck that guy.
Hell yeah. In unity. I love that.
Yeah. So, all right, as we begin to wrap it up, if you've made it this far through the episode with us, thank you for the love and the support. If we could just ask you guys to do 4 simple things for us, and that's to share, comment, follow, and subscribe. Every time you do one of those things, it pushes the content out for people to see that, and that helps us by reaching our goal, which is to spread hope and positivity 1 episode at a time. And with that being said, go show the Jovial Junky some love. Go give her a follow, a like, a share. And at the end of the day, just remember, you know, we recover out loud for those that suffer in silence. Wait. Yeah. See, I'm leaving. I was like, hold on. I say it every time. I don't know why I got fucking brain fart. Anyways, yeah, we recover out loud for those suffering in silence. And until next time, love you guys.